Hello everybody, we're looking at the time trial courses run by Lichfield Running Club. We have a time trial every month on a Wednesday evening. In the summer we have a 5.2 mile time trial. In the winter we have a 5 kilometre time trial. Let's look at the case for developing a new 5 kilometre time trial course. First, start and finish area at King Edward's is problematic, cars being a real issue regarding safety, particularly at the end. Secondly, there's a difficult and dark section in Gorse Lane as you go through an alleyway with a post at the end. Third, the Co-op crossing can be difficult, cars coming out, cars going in, not appreciative of runners. Fourth, the crossing at Roman Road and Broad Street can be difficult, particularly cars turning left, and it's hard to see whether they're going to turn left because the cars don't always indicate. Fifth, the turning into Cherry Orchard at the top is a dark and difficult one, and we know that one runner fell in 2012. Sixth, in Cherry Orchard there are also some issues. It can be difficult because of the potholes and difficult because of cars reversing out of driveways. And finally, difficulties with the finish area we've faced this year. The increase in numbers of runners taking part means that it's hard to see just who's coming in, particularly in the dark, and particularly in an area where we've got cars coming by them also. So that has collectively caused a bit of some trouble. So this is the proposed new course. It's just over 2 laps. It's based around Falklands Road, Santa Foy Avenue, a little bit of Chesterfield Road and a little bit of Bossway. These are all roads we have used frequently in our training sessions, so this is an area we know. The group I've been running with have been using Santa Foy Avenue and Falklands Road quite a lot over the winter, and have found it particularly useful, and we'll explain some of the reasons why. In the left hand side you've got a drive-by of the course at night, because obviously we will be running the course in darkness, and so we need to have an understanding of what that looks like. And hopefully what you can see from that drive-by, which is obviously a drive-by, it's not meant to be overly accurate, is that it's reasonably well lit. There are lots of street lighting, lots of posts, and they're quite frequent, and therefore you shouldn't have the dark sections that we've got at the moment. There are no bins to be put out on those sections, and they're nice and wide. A count up of the crossings. There are fewer crossings, 10 roads to cross as compared to 18 on the current course. We'll look at the start and finish area. The start area is going to be a little bit back from the finish area in order to get the 5k up, but there's a nice blue cycle sign that we can use, and there's a line on the road which would act as the start line, so we should be able to identify that. That's on Santa Foy Avenue, as is the finish on Santa Foy Avenue. The finish area is beside what is a sort of gym area, an exercise area, and the idea for that is the people finish the run. There's a finish line that is just before the entrance, where people would stop and then slow down, and we take their names as they went into the gym area. So move people off the course, move them into an area where they could put jumpers, bags, or whatever they needed to bring before the start line. That would be reasonably safe, because there'd be marshals on the recording, and it would be a clear area where that could be placed, so that people could move from King Edward's, put their stuff down, and then go for the run, and then put their jumper on or so at the end of it, and they'd know where it is, and it's in a nice demarcated area. The road surface, which I think is a particularly good part of this course, has a cycle lane and a pedestrian lane, so very wide. We've been running on this and in packs of 15 or so, really fast, doing 400 and 800 reps, and we've had no trouble in terms of pedestrians coming along. We haven't scared them having to leap out the way, because very few people use that area. There's not lots of houses. There's only houses on one side of the road. It's not really a through way to get anywhere in terms of trying to get from one side of Lichfield to the other, and certainly not over the areas that we would be looking at. So I think it's a pretty safe course. I think it's good for running on. It's got a cycle lane and a pedestrian lane, which gives a width, so that if there is a dog walk or there is a pushchair, both parties can take action to get out of each other's way. So this is the start in a bit more detail. You've got a nice blue cycle sign, which makes it really easy to see. You've got a nice line on the road, which acts as the start line, with the cycle sign again on the ground. So in other words, it's pretty easy to see. This should be leaving very little doubt as to where we start from. And at the end, we've got a finish line, which I've just marked there on the right hand side, which we can use. And the person just finishes that, then just bends into the gym area. There's a gym and a basketball court where the person can stand to take the names. This will naturally slow people down, keep the people away from the end point of the runs, and give a way of just managing the numbers, managing people coming in, so that we can get the numbers recorded really easily. Only possible of turning into Fossway. That's the only really bit I think is very tricky. There's no note. There are easy drop down curbs, so you can just be running along the left hand side, look for a safe part and then cross. Other issues? Well, it's not starting at King Edwards. I actually think this is quite a good thing. I think the idea of having a good warm up before doing a 5k is fairly important, particularly for performance. Would the course need marshals? Well, it would need marshals. The other course, our existing course, probably needs more marshals, but they're spread out over a whole 5 kilometre distance, whereas this is a 2-lap course, meaning that it should be easier to manage the hot spots and be much closer to each other, and marshals could move around a little bit and certainly communicate much easier than they do at the moment, so that safety should be easier to ensure for the runners. What to do next? Well, here's the course. It's over roads that you probably know reasonably well. Have a go round it, have a run round it, have a play round with the runs, the crossings, etc. It's important that people are happy with this suggestion. If you can think of a different option, then by all means say so. Have a think about where we can go. And all the normal sort of things that matter, like crossings, where we start, where we end. Always provide feedback. Don't if you think it's a good idea, then say so. If you think it's not such a good idea, then say so. Speak to other club members, see what they think, and then speak to members of the committee if you can, or just send an email. Send an email to that address there, or put something on Facebook. I'll put this on Facebook anyway, the video, and so that everyone is reasonably happy with what's going on. It's meant to be a run set up to help everyone enjoy running a little bit more, whether that's going faster, being able to go more comfortable over a 5k course, or having a really good social, which I think these sort of runs do at the beginning and the end. Thank you for watching and listening. Look forward to receiving your feedback.